This program is part of American Graduate. Let's make it happen. A public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
It's the culmination of the American public school experience, high school graduation day. That's the day when the world is supposed to open up for you, when you have the freedom to get a job or go to college. You've passed through the graduation gateway that begins the rest of your life. But not everyone makes it through that gateway. The U.S. Department of Education reports about 25% of American students who start high school are not finishing 4 years later.
There we go.
Cameron Bracken is 19 years old and doesn't have a high school diploma. He says school wasn't too bad in 7th and 8th grade, but things started going downhill for him soon after beginning high school.
I didn't really go to school to learn. I went to hang out with my friends, and that's kind of where I went off the wrong path. I really hated homework. It was a big one for me. That's what my grades started dropping, and once that happened, it kept bleeding.
He started skipping classes, and when he did go, Cameron got into trouble. By the time he was 16, Cameron was ready to stop going to school altogether.
I wasn't thinking about my future. It was just, I'm hard-headed, I'm gonna do what I wanna do, and I wish I would've listened. I really do.
Cameron is not alone in leaving school before graduation day. The U.S. Department of Education's most recently released numbers show that only 74.7% of America's high school students graduate within 4 years. In Florida, almost 30% of students are not walking through that graduation gateway with a standard high school diploma. Instead, many are heading straight into the real world and the current job market.
Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to Workforce Plus Job Fair. Good morning. Good morning.
On this day, more than 1,100 people are looking for employment at the Workforce Plus Jobs Equal Paychecks Now Job Fair and Expo in Tallahassee, Florida.
Click on that job title, and it will bring up what we're looking for, and then you can apply for that.
Okay.
An estimated 500 jobs are available, ranging from fast food to computers and from healthcare to banking.
It is not unusual for one of our teller positions to have 100 or more applicants apply for each position.
Because the number of candidates is so much higher than the number of positions available, the current economy is known as an employer's market.
We see a lot of folks who have extensive backgrounds, who are willing to, start at a lower level, to get in. And we love that because obviously they bring, a better skill set to the table that we can utilize hopefully in the future.
Take an application.
90 to 95% of the jobs that we post locally require a high school diploma or GED.
Kimberly Moore is in charge of this job fair. As the Chief Executive Officer of Workforce Plus, a regional board of the state's Workforce Florida Incorporated program, Moore's goal is to help connect employers and job seekers.
Okay, you can apply for any jobs?
For the last 10 years, this event has been the largest recruiting event for North Florida and South Georgia.
You can give me your resume and they'll review it.
Moore says employers traditionally look at a job candidate's level of education to help narrow the field.
It speaks to where the baseline is, if you will, that employers are requiring at a minimum.
And in tough economies like the one we have now, when there's a sea of candidates for each position, it becomes even more of an issue.
When you have applicants that have education, they are certainly given a leg up with the other applicant pool.
It is not a deal breaker, but we would expect that they would have a lot of work experience, even when they do have their high school diploma.
Even though there are some employers that may be more lenient in that regard, the conversation still becomes whether that person has the foundational skills that will allow for additional training to occur.
Cameron Bracken has had additional training in the years since leaving high school. He holds some vocational certificates in welding and is working on getting his GED. Even though Workforce Plus is helping Cameron look for a new job, he says the lack of a diploma makes the search harder.
I've been told this a million times by people and people that hire people that if someone comes in here with a high school diploma or a GED, they're going to get the job before you do, of course, because of that piece of paper.
Cameron had a different perspective when he was 16 and said goodbye to high school. His dad owned a tree service company, and Cameron figured he would work there.
I was always just kind of going off that, like I'd always have a job. I don't need school. I don't need this because my dad has his own business. You know, I'll be set.
But things changed. His dad doesn't have the company anymore, and Cameron has had a variety of jobs over the years. He says supporting himself has not been easy.
I've worked at Super Suds, Waffle House, McDonald's, you know, just low-end jobs. I was very hard, very, very hard. It's still hard to this day.
The U.S. Labor Department reported that nationally, the annual unemployment rate for 2011 was 8.3%. And when you break it down by education level for those over the age of 25, the numbers are even more telling. The more education someone has, the lower their unemployment rate. In 2011, people across the nation with a bachelor's degree or higher had a 4.3% unemployment rate. That's almost half the national average. At the same time, people who didn't have a high school diploma are almost double the national unemployment average at 14.1%. But by getting a high school diploma, you land at 10.3%, above the national average, but still better than no diploma at all. And in an area where the available workforce has extensive opportunities for higher education, the unemployment gap widens even more. For example, in Tallahassee, Florida, there are 2 state universities and a community college: Florida State University, Florida A&M University, and Tallahassee Community College. In the breakdown of unemployment numbers by the U.S. Census in 2010 for Leon County, which encompasses the capital city, those without a diploma or GED were at 31.7%, compared with 11.2% for those with a high school diploma. Bachelor's degree or higher, 3.1%. Workforce Plus CEO Kimberly Moore says those who've attained more education are being offered jobs first. And even if the positions available are not in the field they had been working previously, the tough job market means people are accepting them.
Inevitably, you've been trained, you have specific skill sets that would allow you to go into a specific industry, but by and large, there aren't any jobs available in that specific industry, so you have taken what's known as stopgap employment in order to meet your financial obligations.
That means even jobs traditionally filled by those without a high school diploma are now going to people with more education. Cameron Bracken sees it in his job search too. Not having a high school diploma has stood in his way.
It was kind of like discouraging, but I couldn't blame nobody except myself. I see the reasoning behind it. I mean, you work hard while you're in school and you get rewarded, and if you don't, you don't.
You know, it's a challenge, and we've got to make sure we stay on top of that population.
Gerard Robinson is Florida's Commissioner of Education.
There's always been a concern that schools would try to find ways of taking their hard-to-serve students, and rather than have them drop out, just move them over to a special center. Now, there's just been a history, not just only in Florida but in other states, of that happening.
Comparing the graduation statistics across the country can be difficult. That's because states use different methods to determine their graduation rates. It may sound like it would be simple to calculate, but there are a lot of options. Do you count students who got their GED? What about students who took 5 or 6 years to graduate instead of 4? What about students with disabilities who earn special diplomas? There are a lot of other possibilities as well. What counts in the overall graduation statistic? 4 years ago, the U.S. Department of Education decided all states would use the same calculations starting with the data coming out of the 2011-2012 school year. Official graduation rates will now measure how many students receive a standard diploma within 4 years of starting high school. Students receiving GEDs, students who take extra years to finish, and students receiving special diplomas can still earn them, but statistically, they will now be considered a non-graduating student.
It's not anti-special diploma. I received emails from parents who have students with a special diploma or about to graduate with one who are concerned either because of the waiver or the school grade that we're getting rid of the standard diploma. That's still in place. It simply won't count for our graduation, but kids can still use it and stay up in school until they're 22.
The new federal graduation rate will significantly change the overall graduation numbers for many states across the country. In Florida, the percentage of graduates has been going up since 2006, from 70.3% in the 2006-2007 school year to 80.1% in 2010-2011. If those last year's numbers were recalculated under the new federal guidelines, the graduation rate for Florida falls back down to 70.6%. There's still an overall rise in percentages over the years, but the numbers are now going to be much lower.
I don't make a value judgment of good or bad. It's what I have to work with, and the main thing is standard diplomas. I see it as an incentive to get more kids in it. We still have special diplomas, so those families still have an opportunity. We still have GEDs, still an opportunity for the adults to do it. It's just a calculation issue, not a calculus issue.
The new calculations may mean the number of official graduates goes down and the number of non-graduating students goes up, but the number that hasn't changed is the dropout rate. The U.S. Department of Education's latest release put the dropout rate nationally at 8.1%, and in Florida, for the 2010-2011 school year, it was 5.5%.
We've got to find a unique way of making sure that kids understand that it's okay to finish high school, because there is a culture that says you're actually a hero if you don't finish. You were good enough to leave, but we've got to change that culture. Say, no, actually the heroes are the ones who can try to stay.
I felt horrible.
18-year-old Todrick Aspie had already taken his senior pictures when he was called into the office at his school. He thought it was to talk about the fact he still needed to retake a semester of algebra in order to make up a single missing credit.
But it was like 3 or 4 of them. So it was like, whoa, I'm probably not going to graduate on time. So that's when it got real serious for me.
With that many credits to make up, Todrick and his mother had a conversation about what he should do.
And I love my mom and I don't want to disappoint her. And she just basically told me it would be very disappointing to her if I don't finish high school on time.
Together, they decided he should move from his Leon County High School and apply to the district's Success Academy at Gasvini Learning Center.
We are a dropout prevention school.
Joe Pons is principal at the Success Academy, working with 300 middle school and high school students. Now in its second year, the program uses an accelerated curriculum that mixes online and live instruction. Students can catch up on credits, or in some cases get ahead in school.
We meet with every parent and every child on the front end. We explain what the program is, we explain the opportunities that are there, and we explain that an accelerated curriculum is not going to be easy. This is hard work, and you have to be ready to buy into that hard work to be successful.
Students stay with the same 2 teachers all day, rotating as a group between them every hour and 30 minutes. Principal Pons says it's one of the keys to preventing distractions.
For some students who have difficulty focusing, changing classes 6 times a day, getting to see different friends between each one of those classes, never being anywhere more than 50 minutes makes concentration difficult and makes achievement difficult.
With opportunities for increased concentration and a flexibility for students to work on the necessary subjects at their own pace, Academy students can go as fast as they want.
Like I remember I finished the English 3 credit in like 3 days. So I already have 2 credits now. They say I might graduate early, which I was thinking I wasn't going to graduate at all this year.
It can be usual. For any student that chooses to do it, it can be very commonplace.
Academy teacher Josie Harris worked with Todrick on his English credit.
We encourage them to keep up with a certain number of assignments and lessons per grading period, and certain students take it and run with it. And I've had a couple students finish 10 credits in 2 months.
High school goes way faster than you think, so I think you should take it seriously.
Todrick says thinking he had plenty of time to get it all done was the reason he ended up behind in school.
They kind of told us, like, make sure you be serious about your credits before 12th grade, but I was like, 9th grade, I got 4 years.
Yeah, we call it the light at the end of the tunnel. The high schoolers, yeah, they are so concerned about right now, and they're not thinking about later on. And before they know it, they're 17, 18 years old, and they've got a lot to do.
It is very hard to get young people today to live beyond the single moment. And we have an ability as adults to be able to project out years, months, weeks. Many young people don't have that ability. It's all about today.
I don't know if the world will stop if he doesn't graduate, but I might.
Janetta Green knows that she was one of the keys to making sure her son Todrick focused on his future.
And whether he knows it or not, it's very important. Down the line, it'll be even more important than it is now, because 18-year-old kids make moment decisions, not life decisions. So in his life, this will be important to him.
What your life is going to look like, a snapshot 10, 20, 30 years from now is going to be totally different if you have that diploma and if you don't.
Todrick credits the Success Academy and his mother with making him understand that a high school diploma will provide him with many options. He thinks he may even try the local community college where his mom has been taking classes for 2 years.
He's just going back now, and she's on the dean's list, so I know I can do it if she can do it, because my mind is young and fresh.
Children want to be successful, they want to be challenged.
Jackie Pons is superintendent for the Leon County School District in Florida, which has 33,000 students in pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. He's proud of the work the Success Academy has been doing.
Just because a child has fallen behind, we still need to provide opportunities for those children, because if we don't, those are the children that we'll pay for the rest of our lives, and we've got to help those children to be successful.
Superintendent Pons says the cost for the rest of us doesn't just come from the single individual student who drops out. He says having a workforce not ready to meet the demands of business is a serious issue for the state's future as well.
And it's the most important thing we can do as a state is to look at the economic development that's created by having a great educated workforce and preparing our children for the next jobs, to be the next entrepreneurs in the state of Florida.
It's a concern employers have as well, especially once the economy improves and the number of job applicants goes down.
I've been a recruiter for 20 years, and there have been times when we had way more jobs than we had applicants. So the tides turn constantly.
If we don't put a whole lot of emphasis on the individuals who lack those skills, high school diploma and other specific skill sets right now, employers will be faced with what I would call an unqualified workforce, if you will. And that's something that our community should definitely look to avoid.
And it's not just dropouts who are entering directly into the workforce in Florida. Approximately 27% of those who receive diplomas and certificates of completion from their high schools don't have plans to go to college, technical schools, or the military. So there's a new effort to train students for careers while they're still in high school.
While I'm very clear that I want students to be prepared for college, Florida's movement now is to prepare students for colleges and careers, and that's just not something we say for marketing purposes. We've got federal money behind it, we've got rules behind it as well.
One of those rules has encouraged the development of career academies in every public school district across Florida. The state legislature passed the Career and Professional Education Act, also known as the CAPE Act, back in 2007. The purpose was to create partnerships between businesses and schools in order to prepare students for skilled careers and provide companies with a well-trained job force.
I love the Career Academy. It's opened so many doors. When I came to high school, I didn't expect my education to kind of skyrocket like it has.
Marcus Lockwood is one of the many students in the Academy of Information Technology, located at Godby High School in Leon County.
When I first got here and I was starting to earn certifications, it made me happy. And then when I started getting offered more opportunities to take certifications, that just made it even better.
The certifications Marcus is talking about are the kind required by many companies hiring in the IT field. These teenagers are still high school students, but in some cases, they have more specialized training than some adults.
I'm certified in Microsoft Word, PowerPoint.
Internet computing certification, global standards. I passed Word, Outlook.
I'm certified in Photoshop, Premiere.
Really, it's just for them to be job ready.
Andrea Jones-Colson is the lead instructor at the IT Academy.
They do their requirements for high school, and then they can also be prepared to move on to college or move into a career.
Information technology academies like the one at Godby High School are just one type of career academy available across the state. Health sciences, agriculture, and architecture and construction are just some of the other career clusters available. In addition to their IT academy, the Leon County School District has another academy for finance. Both the IT and finance academies are located within the regular Godby High School, but not every student can take part. Students throughout the district have to apply and be accepted to the Career Academy as a school choice option.
We're a school within a school. So we're here at Godby, but we have a small cohort that works together. Those kids travel together from class to class. The teachers work together. We have common planning period, and we talk about those kids, and we talk about where they're going, how to benefit them.
Most of the Academy students take honors math, science, English, and history classes. And in the IT Academy, time each day is spent studying about computer software and hardware.
I feel like the Academy model in a lot of ways meets kids where they are already.
Godby Assistant Principal Michael Bryan says students today are digital natives, constantly surrounded by technology.
I think it's the fact they can get their hands on a keyboard a lot. I mean, they're tactile and they're active. They're not sit and get kinds of activities. Whether they may be learning a software program, they may be learning some kind of great skill, but they're actually using the skill, so it's engaging.
You know, I feel very strongly that one of the reasons why children want to graduate from school is the fact that you offer courses to them that motivate them to get up and come to school every day.
The classrooms are so interactive and hands-on that you love to come to school every day. It's just like you were in elementary again. It's like, I can't wait to go to school, play with Legos and Play-Doh. I can't wait to go to school and come, fiddle with computers and learn more about them.
Everyone's calling me whenever the computer breaks or whenever they need something.
IT student Oscar Guillen says hands-on experience in a subject he enjoys helped him not only decide he wants to become a computer security specialist, but it also helped keep him in school.
A couple months back, I went through a lot of problems with my family and moved out of my house, and I wanted to drop out. But then at the same time, I thought about all the certifications I've been getting and other certifications I can still get. And all that made me realize that I not only should stay in school and do all my work, but also because it's going to help me do something that I want to do in the future.
The future of career academies in Florida is looking up as well. During the first year of the CAPE Act, there were fewer than 250 registered career academies in the state. 5 years later, there are more than 1,500. The number of students involved is growing as well. In the 2010-2011 school year, 18% of all public high school students in Florida were in career academies. The students in Godby's IT Academy recognize that getting the certifications will give them a leg up once they enter the workforce, before, after, or if they never go to college.
When you go ask for a part-time job, they see this, they see you're certified and all this stuff, and they see that you're serious about it.
Employers love the idea that our educational system is seeking out opportunities to better understand what their needs are. For those students who may not have an interest in moving forward with their education beyond high school, it gives them the tools that they need to move into employment right away and honestly not become part of the unemployed.
If they do go to college, then they have the ability to work where they're not having to do so many hours to earn a decent salary. They can start out not at minimum wage, but earning the same thing some of the adults do.
We are the gateway to the next step.
Assistant Principal Bryan says all schools, career academy or not, need to help students think about life after high school.
You can't just graduate and wake up the next morning and say, oh, I've graduated, now what? You've got to have a plan, and I hope if we do our jobs here as educators that we are drilling that message in what is your plan? Graduating is minimum and it's mandatory. What do you want to do for your next step? And you need to start thinking about that not when you're a month away from graduation. That needs to be something that's being talked about the whole way through high school.
Tell them the honest truth of what this means and allow them the opportunity to make better decisions based on that.
The road to graduation day is long, with a lot of potential detours. Encouraging teenagers to think about their economic future is one way to keep them headed toward the graduation gateway. Another is not to give up, even when things aren't going according to the original plan.
And you have to explain to them that you can still accomplish what you want to do in life. Follow your dreams, don't quit, don't get discouraged. There's somebody there for you, and want them to be successful.
That's what Todrick Aspie is doing, making plans and following dreams. In May, he plans to return to his home high school and walk across that graduation stage with the rest of his class. Todrick is enjoying thoughts about his future.
At one time I was thinking about culinary arts. One time I was thinking about everything.
Cameron Bracken is working to change his future. He's found a new job and is getting ready to take the GED. Cameron also wants an advanced welding certification. He has advice for anyone who thinks they might want to drop out of school.
Don't do it. Stay in school. Listen to your parents, listen to your teachers. Listen to everybody that's trying to give you good advice, because it may not seem like you need it now, but you'll definitely need it, and that's coming from somebody that knows.
This program is part of American Graduate. Let's make it happen. A public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.